Well, hello there. Good morning, good evening, good night. Welcome into another edition of NFT Live on the Web3 Network. We are having ourselves a great Wednesday because Ronan the Collector is here and Crypto Chris G. I got a Ute hat in the house, and I don't know why, and I'm excited to see you here, Chris. GIF, what is up, my man? We're about to have ourselves a good episode. Deck, Don R, Squash Man, we see you guys that are here early. Our vibe, our tribe. It's an exciting day. We got finally some good announcements coming in from Oniforce. The worst kept secret in the entire space happened overnight. Lick the Toad is happening as well from BAYC, so it's going to be a good episode. Let's start around the table. GIF, what do you got? Nope, you're muted. I love live production. Ronan the Collector, my man, my myth, my legend.
I'm not muted, am I?
No, you're good.
Hell yeah. I'm good, dude. I'm good, man. It's been a good day so far. Like trying to keep up with like everything going on. Lots of news going around. It's nice to see like people, getting excited about some things. Obviously, people are getting hyped about ETHDENVER next week. And so, yeah, man, good vibes all around.
Love to see it. I do have your tweet as well, or not your tweet. Did you put it out on oh, yeah, you put it out on Twitter.
Yeah, I did.
Let me show this.
I tweeted it. I was like, why not?
Let me make sure I pull this up before you talk about it. But all right before we get to our other co-hosts here, we do have this tweet from Ronan. He's going to Denver, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm excited.
Let's
dude.
go. Dude, I'm so excited. Dude, there's so many amazing people. It's like all of my favorite people. Mo Runda's going. Ronan's going. I mean, Quasar is going to be there. There's going to be so many amazing people in Denver. So Ronan, so stoked that you're going to be there. And you're going to get to do the live NFT live with us because we are going to be broadcasting live from the MJ Mansion. It's going to be crazy. So, yeah.
Today we say fuck it and double down with belief in ourselves. Hey.
Let's go.
I can always count on Ronan to get my energy juiced up in the morning, man. All right.
Yeah.
GIF, you want to go next, and then we'll get to Chris here.
Sure. Well, so Chris is just a cool dude that like we were hanging out on another Twitter space, and that's basically it. And we connected, and I was like, hey, this guy seems legit. He's got some good takes. Hey, you want to come on the show sometime and chat with us? And he took us up on the offer. So he's here just to hang out, shoot the shit.
That, dude.
Be talking about all the news, get to know him a little bit. He can introduce himself better than I can about like what his background is. Because as far as I know, he's into the Utes and he's into crypto. That's about all I know. But we're happy to have him here as a new guest on the show today. So give him some love in the chat. And yeah, Chris, if you want to introduce yourself and maybe tell our tribe a little bit about who you are, that'd be cool.
For sure. How's the microphone quality?
It's good. Saucy. Yeah, the video's a little pixely, so I don't know if you bumped up your settings all the way, but either way, we got you here, and that's what matters.
All right, cool. Yeah, so sorry it's pixelated. I'll have to definitely work on that here, but yeah, thanks for having me on. It's good. I've been in Twitter Spaces for a hot minute now. I'm full-time Web3. I'm a director of partnerships for an NFT company, and really we're a tech company first. So I spent a lot of time, in spaces, really just wanting to keep people optimistic and have that positive vibe and just really talk about more high-level conversation versus, just degenning. So yeah, I do my own spaces on Thursdays. Last space, we had 900 people tune in. We had Raspy and Quirkies came by and Fitty from Apocalyptic Apes. And then this week I'm talking to On-Chain Monkeys. So really, I love it. I mean, we're building AR technology. That's really what our purpose of our NFT is. But when it comes to me as a person, I'm based in Tampa. But I've been a gamer my entire life, and I'll be at NFT LA and NFT NYC, and just really looking for like-minded people in this space. I mean, we really got to stick together to provide the next level experience for people that don't believe in us. Because if you're not in the NFTs right now, you either don't know what they are or you hate them. So yeah. It's like I think it's important for people to really get together and just provide some knowledge and ways that people that are outside of our Web3 world can understand, and that's what I like to do.
I love that, man. First of all, you're on stage with a ton of gamers. I definitely vibe with sticking together as far as those that have the same values, man, and attracting your tribe again. So we appreciate having you on stage. Tell me a game that you're into right now, man. Like, what's your
Well,
mainstay when it comes to games?
I mean, it's been a little, since
Don't say League of Legends.
Since I've been grinding, full time for. It's not like I'm not working like a 9 to 5. I mean, it's like it's every minute of the day kind of thing here. But it's how much I put into work. But when I do play, I typically was playing like I went through the MMO phase for a lot of the time. I used to be into like the FPS shooters, but I just randomly I'll pick up like Heroes of the Storm out of all games, which is it's kind of a not one of the most popular ones, but it doesn't require me to have to like. I can just go kill, I can just go kill other avatars and move on with my life. But I'm really excited for to play the Diablo 4 beta here coming up in March.
Dude, you would fit real well in our Discord server, man. We got two dudes who they're just like hots. You want to play hots? I'm like, how are you still? The game died 2 years ago, didn't it? It's dead. It's like there's no new updates. There's nothing, but they still play Heroes of the Storm. That's crazy to me, dude.
Me and a bunch of Brazilians. That's pretty much about it at this point.
And two white dudes from the South.
Do you speak Portuguese?
No, but they do. We communicate through just running around each other.
Okay, Justin Casey, we see you Winebag saying GM Squashman said would love if y'all lightly touched on two things to get your thoughts. One, Marilyn Monroe has an NFT drop tomorrow on OpenSea. 0.3, not Marilyn Monroe herself, I'm sure her state. 0.33 ETH mint. 2, UpDAO proposal about to pass bid 690 ETH max on Dookie Dash Key. So I guess are they trying to purchase the mongrel sewer pass? Maybe that's what I'm getting from that. Don R saying Ronin, yes, and I would be remiss. I see you, Deck, but I would be remiss if we didn't talk about Biggie Poppins, who has started his grand adventure across the world. Is the information we have? He didn't want to share his or I didn't really ask for exactly his flight details, but I know he's pretty much traveling to Asia. He's going to Europe. He's doing it all.
I'm setting up a Twitter to track his movements. Actually, we're going to be doxing all of Biggie's travel plans live on Twitter in real time. If anybody wants to track him down. Also, I've got about half of his seed phrase. So if you can find him and get the other half, we can put it all together. Anyway,
I don't even want to ask how you
bad jokes. These are bad jokes.
Not financial advice.
Yeah, everything we say here is financial advice.
Since we're there, let's hit it. GIF, if you can hit that NFA.
I will.
Folks,
give me a moment to pull it up.
Yesterday. That's another thing we didn't touch on. We weren't here yesterday. Apologies about that. I hope you missed our beautiful faces. But this is not financial advice. Go ahead, GIF. Okay. While he's there, I just put a link to the NFT live tweet as well. If y'all could share this out on Twitter, Chris as well. Can you hit me with your Twitter in this private chat? Share it up on screen. But
sure.
Guys, y'all can share this out. That would be great if you could you could retweet. We'll get to that.
Let's go. All right. This is not financial advice, and the information was found publicly on the interwebs. Opinions shared on this episode are solely of the Web3 team, and all information is public domain. DYOR, fam, or do your own research, please. We're not responsible for anyone's bags. We're just talking about cool shit that we like. And yeah, we say that a million times, but we're going to say it a million times more. Because
no, I got you. I'm trying to pull up Chris's Twitter as well. Chris, I'm just going to highlight your Twitter. Great PFP here. That looks.
No. I'm so sorry. I'm adding.
That's not you?
No, bro. It's Crypto Chris G813. You should see the Ute. My bad.
Bro.
I was like, Oscar the Grouch.
I was like, that's kind of cool. But,
we got trolled.
The Ute works too.
And I'm not a soul maxi. I'm diverse in my portfolio. Let's put it that way.
All right, nice PFP.
It's good to have. It seems like you're deep into the Utes ecosystem, and it's good to have some more of that expertise on the panel because we are not super deep on it. We talk a little bit about it. Obviously, Frank DeGods is a hype man, does a good job of keeping that community in the spotlight. So there's always things to talk about. But I don't think any of us are really that deep into the community. So, that would be an interesting thing at some point, Q, maybe on this episode, to just do like an update with Chris on what's the community doing? What does the move to Polygon mean? What are his thoughts on that? Because I'd love to know, what the status is, and is it something that we should be getting into ourselves?
Yeah, I can definitely chime in whenever you're ready for that.
All right, cool. Yeah, so we're gonna hit on this big Oni Force news first before we get there, and maybe if we have some time, I want to also hit a little update here. We got some things to do on this Rate My Bags. I don't know if we'll get to it, but I wanted to tease that out a little bit because we have had some updates in the PFP side.
4-hour episode, Chris. I hope you're ready.
Yeah, NFT Go BAG CHECK. Before we get started, please leave a like on today's episode. Share out the episode as well. We want to get as many NFT degens in here, although we are talking high-level conversations too, Chris. We flip-flop. Okay, so we do a little bit of both. But we will get to the NFT Go BAG CHECK here. Sentiment's looking pretty good at 46. That's kind of stagnant from yesterday. A lot of people still in losses, still a bear market, folks. If you look at the blue chip index over the last 7 days, we did see a pretty good rise from February 17th up until yesterday. But it looks like we're dipping down against even USD here today. Probably the same thing against ETH might be holding. Okay. Market cap and volume is up against ETH and down today against USD, but still kind of rising over a 30-day time frame. And then if we go down here to collections,
Isn't it strange that volume is up so much and yet things are still so red? You know what I mean? It's like I don't know. I guess maybe it's not strange. I guess it's just a bunch of people just taking L's. Like I don't know who all these people are that just keep taking all these L's.
It might also have to do with Blur, right? We're talking OpenSea and Blur. That's a huge story. Like when you're talking about liquidity, you're talking about volume. It is that.
Blur did over like 100 mil volume, I think, in the last 24 hours again. Like, yeah, that's where the majority of it is.
71 Bored Apes were sold at one time on Blur. Didn't move the floor price. That is fucking like. We'll get into that here in just a second. What is Mech Mines? Anybody know what Mech Mines is going? What's going on with Mech Mines here? Dude?
Pull it up on NFT Go. Pull it up. Let's go look at it.
Does anybody know what Mech Mines is?
I have no idea.
The top project across the entire space over the last, and let me make sure I get this right, 7 days?
No, that's not 7 days.
That is 7 days.
Wow. Yeah. What? Okay.
I have no idea.
Damn near more than all of Yuga assets combined.
Holy shit, almost 126,000 ETH on secondary.
Justin's got the alpha. Drop it on us, Justin.
Give it to us. He minted it, man. 22%? How is it possible?
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, that's crazy. All right, 24-hour volume. Let's zoom out to 7 days here. This is with our handy wash filter on, so it's going to remove X2Y2 almost completely. Blur for what can only be described as like the last week, just an utter dominance, utter beatdown of OpenSea. And we're talking about a moment here in time in the Web3 space where we could really see a paradigm shift of most of the volume in our space, our industry, now going to Blur. We still see a bunch of traders. Obviously, you can see on this chart over the last 7 days, a ton of traders being that yellow piece here, buyers and sellers still there on OpenSea. But as far as the amount that's being moved, Blur is dominating OpenSea and has been for the last week and a half. We can pull up some other charts there as well, but I will get into the Blur and OpenSea combo. But any takes here? I
mean, it's like it's something that, in my opinion, you see pretty often, like in this space, right? It's like big whales are out there like market making so they can continue to grow their bags. You know what I mean? Like, I think like Blur's thing is like they've created a place where you can go make money. And so I think like whenever you've got the ability to do that, like you said, you go and you look, 71 apes bought or sold and then bought, right? That was on Blur. I mean, it's crazy, dude. like the amount of money though. And it's just so like they can then farm more of these tokens that they're, so it's just really interesting stuff to me. I mean, if you're really watching it and you're tied in and you're, in these groups and shit, right, and you're keeping up with like what's going on, there's opportunity to just jump on the back of one of these whales, right, and make the same move and take opportunities and run with them. So I don't hate. I just think it's like really interesting. I like to watch. For me, I like to watch people play with that much money. To see like all the money like Franklin spent and shit over the last 24 hours. I saw like he spent millions and like just picking up tons of stuff here and there, and it's super interesting to me, man.
Okay, the Oni Force discussion is gonna have to wait because we're here. Let's just talk OpenSea and Blur. It's been a huge fucking story. I got your tweet up, Gifted. The story again, and it has to do with the volume that's being traded right now on Blur as compared to OpenSea, and the loyalty rewards piece for season 2 just dropped. And let's get into that, Gif.
Yeah, I agree with everything Ronan's saying, and that it's interesting and you can make some money there. My concern is what is the sustainability of this type of incentive and standard that they're setting, where you're incentivizing wash trading and focusing on even like the space was already obsessed with trade volume over almost anything else, and this is like focusing in on it 10 times more, to where again, like right now we should be talking about Jessica Yatrovsky's project XXGen that's on the front page of OpenSea and talking about why that's an amazing project and all the awesome shit that she's doing as an artist. But one of the collateral issues here is that the marketplaces become the focus, and that pulls again more attention and more value away from the creators. So on top of the royalties and setting bad standards for creators and artists and startups and people trying to get in, and less equal opportunities for people trying to start a business in the space, you're literally sucking even more air out of like the just what's happening, the culture and like sort of the collective attention, the collective consciousness. But anyway, so those are some of the concerns. The thing that I had pulled up there, that's my tweet, is like an absolutely savage move by Blur with this loyalty move. Like right now, if you go to Blur, this is a screenshot of what it looks like to maximize your loyalty, quote unquote. But there's basically these giant green buttons every single time that you list or take an action, like all over Blur right now. And when you click that button, it basically says, hey, if you maximize your loyalty and delist all of your listings from any other marketplaces, aka OpenSea, then you'll supposedly get rewarded more on some level, right? So they're just promising you.
Supposedly.
Well, they're promising you.
Well, it's a chance. It's a chance. Like if you do it, they're not promising you're getting anything.
Exactly.
They're just saying you have a higher chance of getting a mythical box. It's loot boxes.
Exactly.
They're doing it with their enemy as like
they're incentivizing.
Savage,
incentivizing people. Yeah,
it's crazy.
To
your point though, like that is why we have to do way better about like separating the conversation of like what the technology is and isn't, right? Like, and what its use cases are outside of just the investment and all that side. Like we've got to remind people, to Chris's point earlier, right? Like there's other shit that we do with this tech that's really kind of important, that maybe people aren't making millions of dollars off of it, but it is changing the way that we do business. It's changing the way that like we consider brands are looking at loyalty, right? Like there's a lot there. Marketing is going to be totally turned on its head. Like if you thought like marketing was becoming more interactive, like with QR codes and whatever, like dude, wait until like, now you're getting incentivized to like watch commercials, interact with them because of what happens when you own that NFT in your wallet and you show up for a concert or an event locally or whatever, right? So like marketing is about to totally get turned on its head, and people aren't talking about that because we're talking about money. And that's, I think, is part of the problem. You look at like anybody, who's, I'm pretty sure I'm the fucking oldest fucker on this panel, but like if you're as old as I am, you remember when like the internet really fucking started picking up and like people were talking about like the money side of like what the internet was about. They weren't talking about how it's going to change the world because it's literally opening up our collective knowledge base to everyone. And that doesn't happen until you get beyond like the dollar signs, right? And I think that's where we're at right now.
It's been doing that for a while, right? In 2018, when Uniswap dropped their token, it turned their user base into like rabid marketers for their product. Like this is what Web3 does awesome. Only some Web2 companies can really do this. Like a Tesla, for example, can really turn their user into like an avid marketer. Like there's just all the features that are in there.
Brand loyalty is so difficult.
Well, brand loyalty, what you're doing in Web3 is you're sharing the value. Yeah. And I'm parroting this over the past week because that's all Blur's doing. Like they're playing 3D chess when OpenSea was, and they're not even really. Like they're, for those of us that have been in Web3, incentivizing the value share on your platform with the people that use it, Uniswap showed us how to do it. And like it's very clear. Like there's other NFT projects that are related to this. Bored Ape, for example, they don't have to market their shit. Their user base markets their shit for them. Like these are the projects that do it well. But Chris, I want you to hop in.
It's the side effect. Yeah, well, let's get Chris in here. But I just want to say it's the side effect of creating that value and sharing that value with the community is the ambassadorship, is the brand loyalty, and people identifying more with it. When you've extracted value and feel like you're being rewarded for your participation and your support, then you want to push it forward. You want to evangelize, right? So it's like Blur has done this, and NiftyQ, you've hit on this a lot. OpenSea did not really create a community, but it's really what you mean is they didn't figure out how to incentivize people more and share that value. And so people don't identify with OpenSea the same way that people are already identifying with Blur and like really fuck with it. And that's, again, part of it is all that share of value. And all right, I'll stop talking. Chris, let's get you in here, bro. What do you think of all this nonsense?
I think Blur is probably one of the most interesting situations we've experienced. I mean, obviously it's a short year so far, but really this is something that I think since like the last market cycle, we're really seeing a shift of marketplace action. And people have been really focused on launching collections, and really just like, oh, how do I get the dollar here? But now you have marketplaces competing with each other. And I've personally, like, OpenSea has a lot more graphical, it's a little bit more aesthetically pleasing for like trading, but it's not fast, and I miss trades all the time, and like you can also make a lot more mistakes. So when you have speed, typically you're like sacrificing something, and really it's very it reminds me of like a Cardano wallet trying to like trade on Blur, and just like navigating it's not like fun to me, at least. So I get it. Like they've chosen war, and it's interesting to see how they're getting all these people to be more loyal. And what an awesome way to what an awesome strategy. Some type of that's marketing I don't think we've ever seen, where you're creating a loyalty score for this next season. How long is this season 2 going to take? I don't think any of us have any idea.
They said it's just 1 month, but like if they do what they did last time, then they're gonna string it out even longer. They'll say, "Oh, we needed we need another 2 weeks or something." They'll just keep it going because that's their incentive. Is they just want to keep the FOMO and the engagement, coming in.
Yeah. And I think to touch on what you talked about when it came to why people were taking L's and and that volume. I mean, there was volume metrics that they had in place for season 1 that allowed, that gave you a higher amount of Blur. So you had people with Bored Apes really just wash trading to each other and taking small L's because in the long run, it would make them a lot more money. So the closer you get to the floor price with your bids and stuff, like it's going to yield you more reward. And they proved in most people's eyes, especially if you're a degen or you're going to take high risk like this in the first place, that they paid out on that first go round. So like, why wouldn't you maximize the second round?
Yeah, but what's again, this is what like the long-term effect of that type of incentive where you're basically just wash trading and undercutting the floors. Like what are we doing to the space large? It's like, I don't know. We don't all know. And there's also good sides to having the competition and the innovation, because Blur is definitely innovating and forcing OpenSea to respond. And that kind of competition in the marketplace, part of this is probably good. I'm just very skeptical about this incentive being good for anybody other than Blur in the long run.
Yeah. So a couple things to that, GIF. I'm going to try to, from the beginning, we've been having these conversations. I've been a little bit more positive or like less likely to really like go after Blur, because I see like the secondary effects that this kind of liquidity being involved in the space has on just collections, right? And I think you do have to separate the conversations. I like the way Ronan put that. There's separate conversations to be had across, art and gaming and all these different sectors that all have their own wants and needs. But here's the 71 BAYC sale that I'm talking about. This isn't wash trading. This is an incentive, and they incentivize, to Chris's point, people to place bids near the floor because you're getting rewarded for doing so. And because that happened, someone actually took everybody up on those bids and sold into those bids, and it didn't move the floor 1 ETH. And so like this was a really just cool secondary effect. The other piece that I would like to talk about in a more positive light is like normies are being rewarded here. Like it's not just Blur. Like we've had community members be in chat here and say they've made I don't know if anybody's made 6 figures. I don't think Marty's made 6 figures or anything like that. But he's made probably 5. Not to talk about anybody's bags, but like this is people winning. And it's across the board. Blur's going to win more than the average Joe, but the average Joe is also winning here. So there's also those stories.
For now,
and that's
it's short term. It's short term thinking, right? Everybody's focused on right now. Like, what can I do right now to maximize my bags? And that's human nature. Like, I understand why that is, but also again, it's
fair,
like
though.
It's like
Blur launched what
it's
like, but like Blur launched what a year ago, right? Like almost a year ago. How long has it been around?
About a year.
Yeah, and
around about 2 weeks for most people.
Yeah. The point there is that like when they came out and they started talking about how they were incentivizing people to use their platform, like it was like people were kind of excited the first couple of weeks, and then people moved the fuck on, didn't really care, and were like, oh, it's gonna fade in like a day, right? But like here they are a year later, the token launches and it's doing way better than anybody assumed it would do. It's holding like its line, and they've got this incentivized like plan that they launched immediately after that then tells you, hey, we can replicate what the fuck we just did. So if you thought we made you bags before, like strap on, because we're gonna make you bags again. And so I think like, again, it's just one of those things where it's like, that is one bucket of the conversations that we can be having, but like there's another bucket that I personally am aligned with GIF and like you guys, and that I prefer to talk about the cool shit that we're fucking doing with the tech, not necessarily the money that people are making. But at the same time, I also understand and appreciate the fact that some people are here for that, right? And some people are looking at their plays. Man, I'm super happy I sold mine when I did. Super happy that they made their plays, right? Like when they did. And so we can't ignore it. I just think we really have to separate the two and understand they're two different fucking things, man. This is like the internet being used for, sending emails versus the internet be used to, hook up on fucking line versus it being used for e-commerce, right? Like it's one tool that's being used for a lot of different things. Like I can really niche in on that.
I agree with that sentiment more than I can say. Yeah.
It's look, and on the good side, again, I talked about the innovation that they bring through this competition. They really know what they're doing, and like what they've accomplished is actually it's incredibly impressive. And you can look at it in different ways, like the token going the way that it is. I'm actually pretty bullish on their token because it's attached to a great product. The amount of product and innovation that they've been rapidly iterating on, how competitive they are with the marketing and the things that they're doing. It is really impressive because it's so difficult to create new habits in consumers and to change behaviors in an established, an existing market. And that's what they've done. They've changed how I behave. Like even some of like my strongest values, like some of the things that I'm just like flipping on big collections that I don't care about. Now I'm fucking not paying royalties on because that's the market now. It's a trader's market and I don't feel good about it. I want there to be protections, but like, you know what? They're literally changing people's behaviors because of, they're creating like a whole new marketplace meta, and it's really impressive. So anyway, I don't know how much more time we want to spend on this, but like
I'm down to talk about it. It's a big
right.
kind of topic in the space. Chris, I want to ask you this question, and Ronan, I don't know if I got you on this question as well. Is OpenSea going to drop a token? Because really, if you asked me maybe 2-3 weeks ago, and Gift that did, he was like, hey, they're gonna drop, I think they're gonna drop a token. I was like, there's no fucking way. And I probably still lean that way.
I think they should. I don't think they will. I think they should.
I'm gonna open this up to both of you. Open up the chat. Is OpenSea gonna drop a token? Do we feel that way?
I mean, I personally haven't had like a biased opinion on it. I really don't think it. I don't think it's like that they want to like we just like, you know, like Gift said, they should, but are they? Most likely not, man. I think they're a little bit more traditional. I've met them a few times. I mean, I have friends that are very good connections over there, and I just feel like they're fighting an uphill battle right now, and they just proved it by, I think what's more important is them trying to do this 0% royalties, and that's a whole nother ball game of discussion. But I think they have a little bit more they have to accomplish and kind of clear up right now before they should even consider dropping a token. Because if you're to drop in this type of environment, would it go the way as Blur did? I don't think so.
Yeah, I agree. I also think that like, you know, they're probably in the same boat as a lot of brands where it's like you've got this Yuga thing, right, and the SEC and all that like going on. It's like, how much do you want to like put yourself out there by launching a token and what that opens you up for when it comes to that conversation? So is it worth it for them? I don't know. Will they do it? I don't know. Do I think they should? I don't know.
We're going to talk about an acquisition that just happened in the space here in just a second, which is the OniForce acquisition and sale. But Don R just had a great comment here in chat. I think OpenSea's big move is to buy Blur.
I think OpenSea might have had that opportunity 6 to 12 months ago, but I don't think they got that opportunity now. I don't think I think Blur's like, if they got that DM, Blur's probably got a really funny fucking meme to send back. You know what I mean?
Well,
in response.
The thing is, based on how Blur has outmaneuvered them in the last couple months, a VC might want to say, hey, we're going to come in and bet on them, give them the bags to buy OpenSea. Like, they're the ones with a token now. Like, OpenSea is wanting to go public, allegedly. That's like what I think I understand. And that's part of the reason why they might not want to do a token. But like, yes, they raised a lot of money, but Blur is now looking like the better horse. They've got the trading mechanism. They're changing people's behavior. They've got a successful token. Like, if I was a VC and I'm trying to like pick and choose which team knows what the fuck they're doing right now, I'd be like, yo, I'm going to give Blur my money, and then maybe Blur can buy OpenSea.
Yeah, Saigo has a great comment in chat as well. I don't think so. I have a feeling they don't want the heat, especially after the insider trading debacles as well. That's a great point to bring up. Like, all those things together kind of mix in for a little bit more scrutiny on the regulatory side. It's fair.
Solid point.
All right. We're going to move on from Blur and OpenSea. We appreciate y'all's comments there. Don R saying 300 mil from VC versus 30 million. So I think, you know, that's a comment on how much OpenSea has raised to how much Blur has raised. I wonder if Blur couldn't go back and raise now. Yeah, exactly. Would be a great
all
time.
Of this shit, like what we're seeing, let's not get it twisted. Why is Blur doing all this shit? Why are they literally like throwing out all the standards and gambling like everything to try and just increase volume? It's because they're trying to get VC bags. That's what this is. What we're seeing right now is the fight for the VC money for more fundraising. And so, yeah, you can say like, oh, Blur only raised this amount so far. What do you think they're about to be able to raise after this last couple months?
All right, we're going to get into our major story of today that pretty much broke last night. It's been the worst kept secret in all of the NFT space, is that OniForce is finally getting acquired. We've already seen the floor run up in, predictions of this announcement coming out, but now we have it. Crypto veterans acquired blue chip OniForce NFT collection. OniForce, an anime-themed blue chip collection, has been acquired by a group of industry veterans from Old Fashioned Research, a blockchain investment firm. However, the numbers involved have not been disclosed. It looks like Star-Lordy is staying on, as well as a couple community members. Let's see if we can get any others. YGG is also involved in this, I believe. There's a couple different investment groups, Old Fashioned Research being one of them. So that's the story. Again, we've kind of known that Oni was going to get acquired at some point. That's been the undertone, and now we see it. So any initial thoughts as we kind of dive into the details?
I think Oni, like, we've talked about Oni since day one, man. And I think like we all like believe in the brand and we all see like the potential for that IP. Obviously, like this is huge news that hopefully like gets people excited. For me, man, I just think like it is one of those that my heart is a tie to Oni Force, that I'm like, I just want to see him win, man. And I hope that eventually it gets to that point. And I still think it's so fucking sick. I still would choose the Oni Force, like, IP brand art, like the vibe, the story, everything over Azuki. Like, I don't care. I know that's probably like I'm gonna get a lot of people.
Well, Azuki,
like,
yeah,
shut the fuck up. But
one
like,
of the only NFT project in the space that doesn't have the 3/4 turn as well. It's like it's a half turn.
Azuki actually stole a lot of stuff from Oni Force, which is a whole other conversation we don't have to get into here. But
their webpage when they first launched was like
I've heard, I know, like they actually literally stole a lot of their community mods and everything like directly from their Discord. And so not even just like the style and inspiration, but like a lot of the ways that they build things. So anyway, yeah, I fuck with Oni Force way harder. We don't have to go down that route, but this is a big deal. Ronan, you said your heart is tied to this. I assume maybe also your bags as well. I don't know.
They were, but I'll be honest, like sometimes you look at it and you're like, hey, this shit is moving. So I flipped two.
Yeah, on the pump in the last week or two, I flipped two. I'm still holding several, and I got two rare ones. I might hold forever, but I got one more that I'm trying to flip right now, a little bit above the floor. I love Onis, and the maybe the biggest thing to add to this, I do have some context, like knowing the team about like how hard this has been. This has been a long, drawn out process. It has not been easy to get through this acquisition. So it's great news that it successfully has happened. Like we've all been like expecting this to go down and hoping that it works out. It's a big win for the original team to be able to exit, and hopefully transition it in a way that is good for the brand. Because if you read through this, what they're saying is like their goal is to turn this into the biggest metaverse native IP, right? So they obviously have big plans to keep building the Oniverse. And that's great. Like if you're a collector, if you're a big fan of this, that's what you want. You want people coming in, taking it over, that believe in it, that want to help keep building it. Part of what took so long, and maybe the most important part to add to this that is not in that article, I don't think it's been published anywhere. This is again just insight from knowing people that are closely tied to it, is that the original artist, who was like the first artist that I fell in love with when I first got into the NFT space on Clubhouse, his name's Brian Lee. He goes by I'm Complex. And he basically, because of all this shit, the drama behind the scenes, was totally exited and done. He didn't want anything else to do with it. He had done his part and he was like, I'm out, like, fuck it. I don't want to keep being tied to this project because it's been toxic and it's not going right and whatever. So Brian Lee, the original artist, was out. And obviously that's not good. And so part of what took so long was wooing him back into it, right? They had to go through a pretty arduous process of convincing him that like it was worth him still being involved. And so what we heard this morning from some of the people that are close to it is that they were able to successfully get I'm Complex to agree to continue to be involved in the project moving forward at certain levels. It's like, he's not going to be doing everything for them, but he's going to be a consultant. He'll probably participate in certain drops in certain, strategic areas. But even just having his guidance and having him interested in it at all, I think is a massive W. Because again, it's like he's the creator. He is the Stan Lee of the Onis. He's a brilliant artist. And I think without him, it would be doomed to fail. And so having him aligned with it and interested and paying attention and getting involved gives me much more confidence in what they're going to be doing.
Yo, big shout out to Chris who just dropped this in our private chat. This comes directly from Twitter only a minute ago. So from Oni Force's Twitter, which I think goes out to 137, is the official announcement, right? The official blog post. So Chris, you got any initial takeaways from this acquisition? And I appreciate you dropping that link too.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting acquired. That's bullish to me. I I believe that just proves that they've done enough to show significant effort to a group, you know, or a group of companies that probably does, you know, VC or invest money and makes intelligent decisions. So if they're going after something at this level, I talked about this with my buddy Rothschild, who just became the CEO of Wassiverse, and I'm like, you know, I'm so bullish on projects that have been established, and it's not derugging in my eyes. It's more or less just taking it to the next level. You might have only had so much bandwidth or so much experience, or so, you know, people that knew what to, you know, to get so far, and now you're able to take this next step and get the sleep. On top of that, at the end of the article, they talk about how in their roadmap is a 50th community creator fund that they're going to deploy, and also that they're going to be putting significant backing into this project here. And if things go right, this could be a big IP power play. And I think we'll find out tomorrow on their space that they're having, or I think it's tomorrow the next day. It's the first space
midnight.
They're having.
I believe it's midnight tonight, actually.
Yeah.
It says
First
tomorrow
space
at
they're
12 a.m.
Since the announcement. So this is probably going to be a great time to get some of these questions answered that we all have.
All right, just a comment here on what Chris was talking about. Future plans. The group intends to deploy significant funds into the growing OniForce franchise with a view to establishing it as a leading metaverse native IP. The project's 2023 roadmap includes a 50 ETH artist fund to support community talent, a graphic novel series led by community contributors, and OniForce Conclave, a council of prominent Web3 and Web2 members committed to developing the brand. So up until about a week ago, maybe a couple weeks ago, you could have got Oni under. Let me go back to the chart.
Like 0.4, yeah, half an ETH, 0.4,
yeah,
something like that.
You want to? You were talking about I'm Complex. Here's a fun trivia fact. Do you know that Q and I were talking to I'm Complex about 4 months before he announced he was working on Oni to do freaking lads avatars? We were looking at doing a PFP project.
Really?
You don't remember? You don't remember the day I hit
that.
you up? I sent Q his tweet when he announced he was coming out with the OniForce shit, and I was like, "We were too slow, bro, and this shit looks sick."
Yeah,
That's awesome,
it's
a great story. I can also tell you, you're not the only one, because literally I approached him to do a Nifty Castle collab way before he did OniForce, and he was like anti PFP, anti generative art. And I guess, you know, the Oni
we weren't gonna do a PFP. I sold it, dude. I sold it. He was down. We were into it, and then we dropped the ball, man. We dropped the ball.
Yeah, he's super talented, and big shout out to I'm Complex, because I will always have some loyalty and love for him from those early Nifty Castle Clubhouse spaces, getting to hang out, and he used to just airdrop me some of his art, man, and I was able to flip a bunch of it when Onis took off. He's amazing.
I do want to get into one last comment that I would have is around the acquisition itself. I'm trying to get the members here. OFR was founded in late 21 by Binance VP, mergers and acquisition Ling Zhang and Wayne Fu, previously Binance head of corporate development. Came out of stealth mode with $100 million in that fund. Trying to get more info there. I guess the conversation I was bringing up on GM Web3 GIF was like the Web2 versus Web3 acquisition and how that kind of gets me going, right? The idea that we can have DAOs acquire other DAOs, protocols acquire other protocols, and see like the proliferation of this space that way would be awesome. Like Blur and OpenSea, while probably more Web2 businesses, really, they're just, you know, marketplaces. I like when acquisitions happen, and I like when that happens at the DAO level more so than when I see like a Web2 Nike come in and buy an artifact.
Or just the mergers part of it. Like you can argue, you know, what we did, merging Lad City and the Nifty Castle in a way to create this new network, that's a merger at a smaller level, you know? But like, I'm very bullish on the collaborative aspect of it, and to see more people coming in to build and like focus on these crypto native brands and IP and like things like that. I think it's really exciting. Like I agree.
Love it. Any takes, mergers and acquisitions, Web3 before we move on to
did
our
you
next
guys
piece?
cover?
Well,
did you guys
Scuffed
cover the
comedy
news last week?
Well, Yeah, well, real quick, Scuffed Comedy had a comment. We will 100% see more NFT projects start to get acquired in the future with the more value and functionalities they provide.
And the longer the bear market goes on.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you I missed last week because of the car issue, which update on that. I got the car back. Wife gets it home. Guess what it's doing? Same shit it was doing last week. I had to take it right freaking back yesterday afternoon, bro. It's been a rough one. Anyway,
Tesla
last
issues?
week. No, not my Tesla. Man, that's brand new. Don't talk shit about my Tesla.
I thought Tesla had a big recall, didn't it?
I don't know. I should probably look into that.
Gifts got you under the investigative light
NFTs,
right now.
man. But did you cover the news last week about Super Plastic?
No.
Did you see that? So I'll drop a link.
They got a funding round, right?
Yep. So close the funding round with Amazon as the lead. Part of that, with that comes a deal for creating content, of which Amazon gets first right of refusal. And part of that announcement came the Janky and Googymon show. They signed that one off, so they are creating Super Plastic. We're creating a show for Janky and Googie that's going to be on Amazon Prime, and then part of like the agreement is that we continue to come up with like more creative ideas for them. And the reason I share that is because like, you know, I don't know how much we've talked about it, but like this is one of those projects that has been around for a while. They've had like their bumps and shit, but you know, I came onto the project about 2 months ago, started helping with some of the Web3 shit, super hype and excited about what's going on there and what we have coming, right? Like this was just the tip of the iceberg. Like this is TV and movies and the other thing that we announced last week in our town hall was the synthetic rap group called Ghost Kids, which should be launching later this year. That's going to be fucking sick. And there will be perks for holders in all of these things. And we'll be building out like, you know, our Web3 from there. So some alpha.
Ronan, what's your thought on Amazon as a whole getting more involved in the Web3 space? Because have a feeling that they're going to be doing a lot of Web3 stuff.
I imagine they would. I would be really like remiss if like Amazon didn't, right? Like they've already made kind of some moves, right? Like I think they signed a big deal with somebody to like help with their blockchain or some shit using their cloud services. I think that news came out like a month or so ago. You know, we've seen all types of stuff. So absolutely, I think like they're going to continue to like dive into Web3. I think what a lot of people don't understand is happening right now is we are very much in that place where it's not that like brands and shit got scared and they stopped looking at the tech and stopped like considering it. It's that they realized that this is a point where we were moving faster than technology. And so what they've done is they're starting to take a step back and they're starting to reassess what can NFTs and blockchain do for our core business, right? So there's more planning involved. There's more forethought, which I think means that maybe you don't see as many exciting, headlines, right, this year. But I think in 2024, you see the fruit of that labor, right? Like I think a lot of these brands are really positioning themselves internally to do things in Web3. They're just not talking about it, right? Because the market is what it is, and because there's no rush at this point like there was 12 months ago.
All right, I've got a couple other stories as well that I want to get to round out the episode. We do have, we have some friends over with the Nouns. We appreciate the nounage that's going on as well. So hold on, let me share this really quick. The Wizard hat premiere. Did you guys see this? Animated short film from the Nouns. I love getting more IP, just like Ronan just talked about with Super Plastic. I love seeing IP come out from Nouns. So let's see if I can play this and see on the other side. I'm not going to play the whole thing.
The audio's
What have you done? This spell of transmutation has become too strong.
I thought saying it together would make it work this time.
The sorcerer's texts are sacred. They're not to be trifled with.
But how can I be a good apprentice if I don't get to practice any spells?
You're not my apprentice. You're a hat.
And whose fault is that?
Silence! You're lucky to be alive. Blast!
A master, please.
Is this a
Let me
slideshow
help
for
you
anybody
chop
else?
reversal spell. I goofed up, okay, but we...
Is it a slideshow?
It was looking like Hard
Okay.
to tell. Yeah, hard to tell if it's also on the live stream or if it's just us on Restream. So let us know in the comments if y'all could actually see that fluidly or if it was
Gotcha.
And if it's
broken
slow,
up.
Mike, it's just also from like your stutters is you probably need to restart your computer every once in a while and close
probably should do that.
Chrome every once in a while. You
Chrome
probably keep
does.
Chrome open for it's got a horrible memory leak issue, and that is
Yeah.
like part of what happens when you've got it open too long.
All right. So I won't have it. Let me see if I can play it here and it do a little bit better. But I'm not going to play the volume. But you can see it leads to premiere. What the fuck here, and we got Mint here in the up hand corner. So I just saw this kind of come across the timeline. Again, I love seeing animated IP being shown from the NFT space. It's pretty cool. I think to Ronan's point, Amazon, Netflix, all of these different platforms, they're going to have NFT related content likely in 24.
What are they minting?
I don't know. That's I didn't know if we wanted to get into it. Let's see. Mint an NFT of the film.
Interesting.
You can mint an open edition special premiere only collectible NFT of the film here. I guess maybe the full film.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's an interesting NFT for sure.
All right. I'm much more bullish on like items within the I guess brand and the IP kind of being available for purchase than like the actual video itself. Like I'll give you an example. Like if it's Star Wars related, which we always go back to Star Wars with the IP discussion, but I much rather own something of the set than I would like trying to own the actual DVD or all of that stuff. Like it's just that gets me going a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, we all saw what happened to GameStop. They went out of business on trying to resell used, cartridges and games and things like that. So that's not where a lot of value is. It's in the original assets and the IP.
Okay, I'm gonna get to some of these comments. They're flowing pretty heavily at this point. Let's see. Don R saying, whatever happened to NFTs of historical digital artifacts like the very first tweet? Any future? Marty saying, I like Blur, but they did make everything a floor version now. When I buy a Dogger Mutant, I don't even look at them. Let's see. Don R saying, I'd love to hear Ronan's take on Starbucks NFT success. This was one that you brought up in the morning show here. Apparently the free mints on Starbucks.
I shared that tweet. If you want to pull up that tweet real quick.
Are they going for 2K? Let's go. I bought one like 2 months ago, dude. I am hella bullish on Starbucks because that is exactly the type of use case that I think we're going to see like major brands coming out with and really pushing. Like, I think like you're going to see more of this type of relationship between a brand and NFTs than you're going to see of like what Porsche did, right? Become be a loyal. Basically, what we're seeing is like the tearing down of the walled garden that loyalty was previously, right? And I think brands are starting to realize that like it used to be like if someone is loyal to us as a consumer, we want to reward them, but we only want to make sure they're the ones who can reap those rewards, right? We don't want you like giving away like all the free shit you get. But now I think we're starting to realize that actually, if you allow people to partially partake because they care more about the rewards, because there is an open market for those rewards, then you're probably opening yourself up to a much larger consumer base that may actually end up liking your product. You see what I'm saying, right? Because how many people bought the damn Starbucks NFTs but don't go to Starbucks or don't really care about the product? Or how many people downloaded the app, went to Starbucks and got the free NFT because they were like, this is Starbucks first free or first NFT ever. This might mean something later on, right? So like you're opening up your consumer base. And this is where like a lot of brands don't see it yet, but they're going to.
Yeah, Chris, do you fuck with Starbucks?
Do you fuck with Starbucks or do you fuck with Starbucks NFT?
I can't stand Starbucks in the first place. I did not get on that train. I should have. I got the heads up from Value and Time, Mr. Daniel Mateo, who did get on the Starbucks train. So he's definitely having a wonderful wonderful day. But it's I'm more actually bullish on it being just housed on Polygon. I think you're seeing it really was like the Trump cards that really started that kind of kind of motive for me, that just showing, like these, if they continue to build on Polygon, and they launch, continue to expand their rewards program there, that could turn into a dominant chain for mass adoption if majority of Web2 people are hanging out there, regardless of how we feel about it. There's a lot of FUD on certain Twitter spaces and stuff about Polygon, but you can do some interesting things there, and with the EVM compatibility, and I think even their roll-up system, the ZK roll-ups, I mean, the token price doesn't seem to want to go down. So I love it, man. I stake my Polygon on Polygon staking, and I love to see the news come out on that end. When it comes to Starbucks, I mean, the train's already passed there, but I'm gonna take that use case, being maybe it's the predominant coffee company, but what other Web2 brands are going to start to expand their rewards? I mean, when's Costco going to do something? That will be that'll be one that I think I won't miss out on.
Where are you staking your Polygon? Is that on their native dashboard?
Yeah. So it's wallet.polygon.technology.
Yep, got it.
I should be staking my Poly. I just got on a hardware wallet just sitting there. It's dumb, first of all.
Use
but
Aave, bro.
I think it might still be early on the Starbucks front, honestly. Like, I know it feels like you missed the train, but like, this is literally just the first like positive news coming out of this. They're basically just piloting right now. So I'm in their beta, and I haven't really done anything, and I'm going to go try and start spending a little bit more time in there, because I think it's just the beginning of what this is going to be. I don't even think they've onboarded nearly as many people as they're going to try to onboard. So there's that. I'm curious, we focus a lot on the more bullish side of Polygon. We've been talking about the upside, all the business development happening on it for the last 6 months to a year. I've actually been saying that 2023, I think, is going to be, the year of Polygon, among many other things, because a lot of that development will be coming online, which we're already seeing. We're starting to see that development coming to fruition. I'm curious, to your point, Chris, about hanging out in those spaces and hearing more of the bearish, negative side. Is the predominant negative narrative against Polygon that it's not Ethereum native layer 2? Like, is it that you have to bridge it? Like, what's the main FUD that you've heard?
Bridging obviously is something that people are uncomfortable with, and I mean, it's just security. I mean, it's you can't you can't mint like a free NFT on Cardano, right? So you got a lot of like maxis on that side of thing, like just really against the whole ecosystem, and how like your wallets like, I'm sure all of our wallets pop up. OpenSea,
so the spamming issue.
Yeah, it's a lot of spam. It's a lot of things, a lot of scam options there, and those things need to be fixed. I mean, I'd love to see Polygon do very well, because there's a lot of pros. I personally think they outweigh the cons, and really when it comes to the FUD, I think it's more of an opinionated versus like factual data of something happening.
This is a fucking great segue, Chris, because you're in Solana ecosystem, or obviously have been in trading there. We saw Flow acquire Doodles too, or like not acquire, I guess, but more so like have them build on Flow. Essentially, say, hey, you're launching Doodles 2, have it be on Flow. We'll either pay you or not pay you. We haven't got those details, but we did see Utes get paid. We did see Utes get paid to move to Polygon. What was the overall sentiment from the Solana people of moving to Polygon?
I mean, I think Solana, and overall, it's a stab. I mean, like some people are maxis and some people are community members. So, if you're part of the Utes community, it really doesn't matter where you're housing your NFT. You're not. Maybe you're there because you got it on Sol, but really you might be there for the art, or you're there for who else is involved with the project, and you might be following, the leadership and be a fan of them. Obviously the Solana people definitely taking it a little harder than others. There was a little bit of war between like Bonk Coin and stuff, and who was getting airdrops and who wasn't, and taken away from DeGod's ecosystem. But I think, we talked earlier about like the Utes and what's going on. I mean, one of my team members, his name's Non-Fungible Evan. He was a Bored Ape holder until a couple weeks ago, and he's the Bored Ape. His ape was what we were using as a use case for our AR technology and bringing NFTs to life and avatars. But it was like when he made that decision to sell it for 69 ETH, It was, obviously the question was, what is your future plan? And he picked up a 1 of 1 ute for 2,000 SOL. It's something where, some of these blue chip collectors that have experience from like a little bit, from holding something of that caliber, being part of the high level community. I guess like some people are considering you to potentially be a run for the money of like, the next Bored Ape per se. And they're getting that early Bored Ape vibe from just the progression of the collection. And I'd rather see a collection do something like this change than do something on a chain that they're not comfortable being on.
Yeah, we're getting Ronan back here relatively shortly. He had to go just for a second. My thoughts on this are that these protocols need like one winner, and then 2, and then 3, but they really need one first to hit, and then they'll be okay. Like Aavegotchi's been on Polygon, but really hasn't been at the heart of like any type of PFP type movement. They certainly have a large community, but being able to like Flow saying, hey, Doodles too, come over here, then you can see a proliferation. And I use the Halo analogy a lot. Xbox really wasn't that popular before Halo. Like they were trying to find their app, their game that got people to want to buy an Xbox. And everybody needed to buy an Xbox when Halo came out because you had to play that game. And then you can start launching other games once everybody has an Xbox.
Yeah, it's the same thing with House of Cards on Netflix. Yeah, go ahead, Chris. And then I wanted to chime in, but go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna to kind of come back to that. Yeah, I think it's really cool to see that like the money per se isn't like that big of a deal to people of like, oh my God, they're just getting paid to go there. It's really been more viewed as this is going to allow them to really expand it and really create that the different opportunities. I mean, these guys are all grinding in a house out in LA. And they are putting a lot of freaking work in. And I think that if they do things right here on Polygon, they just have a little bit more builder tools available to them. And I think that comes from not only the Polygon ecosystem of like community creators, but also them as a like a blockchain. So I expect to see them just having a lot more assistance building on this in their future with that blockchain.
I think you see like a lot of upside when it comes to onboarding, right? Like, Doodles made it very clear, like the reason that they went with Doodles 2 on Flow was because they want to be able to onboard millions of people. And like, you just can't do that when you're dealing with Ethereum wallets and shit, right? So I think that's one of the like things that just makes so much sense to me. And I think like is why you see Polygon and Flow doing so well when you talk about like big brands and bringing in, the potential to bring in these huge names that, other people may not even have conversations with.
I think well, real quick, what you said, Q, about like needing to have the hits, you got to have the home runs and like the big IP to really expand and get more people into your platform. The reason why it's to me a big hit for Solana is because that was their only, in my opinion, like where the fuck's OK Bears at? Like nobody talks about OK Bears. Like what? Like there's no other Solana community or big project that I know of. Like where's Bonk at? Bonk was apparently like a bunch of insider trading, and like we haven't heard about that. Like there's nothing from Solana that has transcended and become a big part of the community obsession and the culture and the zeitgeist like the Gods and the Utes have. And so to have their like sort of top IP and creators and the biggest IP on their chain abandoning them, basically, that's a pretty big hit.
No, you're right, Giv. I mean, like that's the thing about like I have it's the issue I have with like a maxi mentality. I mean, there was no really college for Web3, right? So a lot of the stuff I learned personally was by going in and down those rabbit holes and losing money.
Clubhouse. That was the closest thing.
I didn't even use Clubhouse. I just went and learned how to use a Phantom when it was like really bad. And and like the Magic Eden didn't exist, right?
How old are you?
I'm 30. Turned 35 this next month here. So
damn, dude.
Yeah, man. The cool thing is like I still think Solana will exist. And I think it's going to be running its own cycle. I mean that coin pumped to 250. So to me, it's like I feel like you might see, maybe it's not a creator economy for NFTs, but that might be an ecosystem that partners with something on a cryptocurrency side because of the transaction speeds and how much they can do there.
Yeah.
That doesn't really help NFTs. So it's like
Dude.
people are building there maybe for the wrong reason in the first place.
Okay. Yo, that's exactly it. We've been saying that. Like, not all chains need to be everything. They should specialize sometimes. And I've been saying Solana is not the place for NFT art and NFT artists, but we're bullish on Solana long term because of their tech. But like, I don't think Solana is the place for NFT art and NFT artists. Personally, I just don't think it is.
Ronan, we have a segment here on the NFT Live. At least we've named the segment now. It's called the Yuga Lab Show, and we sing it in a melody. Okay, so you have to do this with us. Ready? 1, 2, 3. The Yuga Lab Show.
Yuga Lab Show.
All right,
so
we have our
bad.
first look at Toad Mode. Toad Mode is out. Yeah, we'll do it off air. So here's what we got. All right, I'll get to the details here in a second, but essentially what's happening is the sewer pass is open, and now the Toad Mode leaderboard is active. So I did an absolutely terrible job of explaining how this works on the GM Web3 Morning Show because it is a little convoluted, but I'll go into the actual details. Basically, what you have is the standard sewer run with a minute to a minute and 30 of what you just saw there. So essentially, I think even if I go to the end, I wonder if it pops out. That would be nice. No, he just lost in the actual mode. All right, it's time to lick the toad, and I'll get to the very, very basics, which is essentially, I'm gonna get to it. All right, here it is. Explore the sewer, lick the toads, hold on to the totems. So what we have is the score from the original sewer pass being now not cumulatively added, but it's going to be alongside what you do in Toad Mode. The top 500 that take place in Toad Mode sewer run, the Toad Mode Dookie Dash, is the same. So there's going to be a new 500 that are able to, say, hey, I got 600,000, 700,000, 800, whatever. This extra one is the Lick the Toad piece. It's the top 2,000 that basically grab the toads in that minute and a half. So I know I'm trying to get my head wrapped around it too. The 2,000 are going to be the people that grab the most amount of toads in that minute and a half in the run. So it has nothing to do with how far you get. It's the toads that you're getting. You're not going to run into any obstacles. It's literally the obstacles you're just running through. There is no type of Dookie Dash 1 mechanic there. You're just trying to get the amount of toads. Top 2,000 there, get whatever it is to come, which was the second piece of this. And that's the companion drop that goes along with the Lick the Toad piece. So it says whatever it is, whatever they are, they're drawn to the power source. Sewer pass holders have the opportunity to earn one of these companions when the sewer is open in 1 hour.
What if you have an OG sewer pass and you don't want to use it for either? Is that thing going to be like super, super rare now?
The virgin NFT piece is interesting. I never really want to do that. I'll take my chances getting value out of the drop rather than keeping it as a virgin NFT.
I'm a DJ, bro. I'll hold that. I'll hold that OG and.
Well, he's
question, right?
Okay, so
it's funny. It's funny that he says that because I was literally like, as I was playing Dookie Dash the last couple of days, I was like, is there a hack where you can reverse and go backwards to get the key? I was like, is there like a secret hatch? Is there the Ready Player One Percival Easter egg somewhere hidden in this shit? And who knows? Maybe there is something weird like that. But I think they would really upset and piss off the whole community if they weren't more transparent with something this big. So while there's not a lot of transparency about like the final things that you're getting, I don't think that they're going to mislead people on like participating and incentivizing the engagement. And then real quick, I have to say I was both right and wrong on this. I was certain that licking the toad was going to be the second other side trip. Clearly I was wrong on that, but I also was speculating that they absolutely were going to do more of the exact same mini game with the Dookie Dash thing because it was so successful and because of that they've got the different evolutions. I just didn't realize it was going to be the Toad would be another version of it already. But I definitely was thinking they would do more.
Okay, I want to get Ronan and Chris's take in here, if any, on this Toad mode. I do want to get into the details. I will say that adding this Toad mode, I think, is a little bit of a mechanic they're adding to allow people to be a little bit more free and not have to say, I have to get 700,000 to get in the top 2,000. It's very like, I doubt it's as hard to get in the top 2,000 as it is to get in the top 2,000 on the regular Dookie Dash game, which I think
they're trying to make it fair as they can.
Yeah. So here it is, and then Ronan and Chris jump in. The top 500 score runs from Toad mode will receive a companion. This is what we just saw. Receive a companion trait to their power source. 2,000 additional companion traits will be awarded to the 2,000 players who collected the most Toads without duplicating anyone who were the top 500 overall. Everyone has a chance. It's not just going far. It's also about licking, aka picking up the Toads as you go. So, thoughts?
It's cool. A little convoluted, a little like complicated. You know, if you're just trying to like get the point across real quick, obviously it's not easy to do. But I think they're doing what I would expect for them to do, which is kind of play with different types of mechanics, different like approaches, right? Like I imagine like whatever comes after all this gaming and whatever comes next will be completely different from this, right? I think we'll continue to see you trying to like bridge what's the word? Like, try to do more with it, right? In different aspects. Like this is like, oh, can we gamify a mint, right? Like, can we give people like the incentive to play a game because there's a mint in the future that the better you do in the game, maybe the better the mint is going to be, which is the general consensus.
And here's the thing, only 2,500 people are going to get this companion. That's essentially what it comes down to.
Well, unless we get to stage 3 and they're like, now we're going to add 3,000 people to getting a companion.
True.
Well,
Chris, what you got?
I think that this is them showing they're listening to their community. This previous temple run that they just had was pretty biased. If you had a higher level sewer pass to get these higher bonuses, I mean, it was unachievable for somebody if you just had a tier 1, right? I mean, you weren't going to
0%.
Yeah, 0%. I mean, really. So it's like if with that kind of feedback that was given, it's hard not to probably hear it. And in their eyes, or at least in my eyes, this was a great play by them to really even out the playing fields and allow others to have like that fair chance. I mean, nobody really wants to go into a position as an underdog. You know, like there's no like to a point you have a 0% chance to win the game. I mean, what's the point except for just checking it out? So this is actually going to give an incentivization to play to win. And if they do this use case properly, this is adding to more use cases to present to an SEC in the future of how you're able to do stuff.
Yeah, I love it. I to Chris's point, 0% of the tier 1s, tier 2s, I believe, got in the top 500. It was all tier 3s and tier 4s, mostly in tier 4s, like the predominant percentage. Ape coin is going to be used again for this. And then I did have one more piece I wanted to touch on. Just slipped my mind. So GIF, if you got anything, and then we'll move on to our last topic.
Well, you know what we got to talk about real quick is the launch party for Web3 Denver, which is happening 1 week from yesterday, Taco Tuesday at the Marijuana Mansion in Denver, Colorado. We got taco trucks. We got a happy hour. We got live music. We got the art show. We got all the Web3 fam at the Marijuana Mansion with a bunch of vendors and distributors showing up with some top grade specialty products. Let's just put it that way. This is going to be the most insane Taco Tuesday that has ever happened in Denver. I'm not joking. This is real. This is actually happening. We're putting it together. This is the launch party for our full. This is our full. Yeah, this is our full 5-day event. Web3 Denver kicking off with this Taco Tuesday party. It's going to be lit. So yeah, we dropped that in the chat. Give it some love. Go tell your friends. Everybody you know in Denver. everybody that you know who might be going to ETHDenver, who's thinking about going, make sure that they know about this kickoff party. It's going to be insane. And then the next day at the Marijuana Mansion, we got the Chungo's Mansion party. Like, this shit is going to be lit. We've got a whole 5 days packed and across 2 different venues, and you can get a multi-pass for all of the events across the full 5 days. You can get a multi-pass for seriously accessible prices, $69, but you can even get 30% off that if you use the code W3B3Life30. We should drop that in the chat. Here, I'll put it in the chat. Q W3B3Life30 is an Eventbrite code that gets you 30% off an already like way cheap deal for all of the value and all the different events, because even just the vendors being at the Marijuana Mansion for the 5 days, like, again, we have some of the high end top vendors of specialty products coming to the MJ Mansion for 5 days. Literally, you're going to get free product worth way more than the pass on just day one. So if you even go to one event, you're going to get well more than this multi-pass is worth. And that's the point. We're pricing this very accessibly to make it something that we can get as many people out to. So ETHDenver is going to be lit. We're going to be talking more about that. Quasar is going to be there DJing several of the events. Shout out Quasar. He's in the chat. Very excited to see you and a bunch of other homies. It's going to be lit. Mo Runda is going to be there. So many good people. I don't know. I'm just getting excited. Jessica Yatrosky is going to be there doing a live performance and her book signing. All right.
Got to get to some of these comments before we end out the episode. John R. saying, I worked in the building with the guys that built the first Xbox. Memories. I remember the grind. That's a pretty cool call out there.
That is dope.
Squash. So the one point that I had to make to round out the Bored Ape Yacht Club is they did extend a little bit of an olive branch to the cheaters or the people that used, I think it was the cheaters, literally. Like, you got a NA if you went through, got a score, but you found you cheated. You can actually go back, still take part in the summoning, which I believe is like on March 8th, if you play Toad mode. So there's a little bit of an olive branch extended there, I guess. I don't know really why they would do that. And then Squash Man is, and I'm going to ask this to the group, thoughts on Yuga implementing Polygon. Someone brought up a point recently that could be used in the other side, even though powered by Ape, and given that Polygon Studios was a partner for Ape Fest. Any validity to that, you think?
Well, for different assets, like in-game assets, why not, right? Like, Ape is built on Ethereum. All the existing Yuga assets are on Ethereum. It seems to me like the most logical scaling solution for in-game assets would be Polygon at that point. But I don't know. Like, I haven't seen anything on that. So, like, if there's actual like insight or news or something around a Polygon partnership or them using it, please share that. We have to hit. Since we got Chris here, we got to hit Utes before we get out of here.
Yeah, we'll hit Utes. There were a lot of IP shown in that other side trailer that are on ETH as well. My dream would be like a flow for other side, but that's probably not going to happen. But Ronan, what's up?
Yeah, not much. I actually have a meeting in 1 minute. So I just wanted to go ahead and say, appreciate you guys. It's been a great conversation. Chris, it was a pleasure to meet you and hang out, dude, and chat. I hope we get to see you here around more often. Yeah, I appreciate everybody. Hope everybody has a good afternoon, man.
Yeah,
and I'll catch you
on
too.
Twitter, brother.
Hell yeah, I appreciate it. I'll throw one back right now. Are you going to be in Denver as well? Because I can't fucking
NFT LA and NFT NYC this year.
Okay, all right. I'm probably gonna hit one of those. Not sure which one, but I will
LA.
see you.
Come to LA. I'll be here.
Not. You know that, man.
Later, Ronan.
Q, you're gonna be in Denver, right?
Of course, I'll be sitting right next to you.
Q never goes to conferences, and he's coming to Denver.
Does it? That's why I told my wife, I was like, I think I'm gonna go because Q's going. She was like, "Oh, Q's going." She's like, "Don't get in trouble. He's trouble."
I'm trouble. Oh my god. Actually, I'm gonna chill out a little bit. I'm gonna chill out a little bit this conference. We'll see.
Thanks, guys.
Later, bud.
Later, bro.
Quasar saying, shout out Nifty Q for always bringing the deep dive gems to surface daily. Oh, appreciate you, bud. Thank you. Squashman's giving some love to Ronan, and we will get into our last topic. Also want to hit on a little bit of Utes, Chris, if you have time.
Sure.
We did have a rug pull / not rug pull. Friendsies apparently pulling the rug a little bit. They basically said, hey, we're stopping production on a lot of what's going on here. Let me get the exact words.
The issue that I
Twitter
can
followers that they were placing a pause on the project and all future digital goods, and then their Twitter rugged. So back to back. What do we think?
The worst thing that they've done here is apparently they deleted their Twitter and started blocking a bunch of people. And it's just like, that's rug 101. It's like, dude, when somebody disappears a Discord or a Twitter after making a bunch of promises and taking a bunch of money, that reeks of a rug. Like you're like, they could have wound this down in a lot of other ways and taken steps to make people feel better about it. And they didn't do any of that, right? They took the really negative, ruggy way to do this. That's the bad side. Dear Solana community. That's what I hear in my head right now. So look, the gist of this is that these are like some established artists with a bunch of resources. They literally had Christie's as a launch partner. Like, let me say that again. They had Christie's as a launch partner. They had the Faroks. They had all the big people. Apparently, Jen Stark is also getting criticized for promoting them early on. They were already established, and they took down millions of dollars. I think just in the primary mint, it was like over 5 mil. Their initial mint price on a Dutch auction was like 3.5 ETH or 3.3 ETH. So just in primary sales, they took down almost 5 mil and then made a bunch on secondary too. So, I'm estimating they had probably around 6 mil, maybe even a little bit more that they brought in off of this. And they did a lot. They brought in a lot of that off of giant promises that were communicated around building a play to earn game, around a big IP roadmap that they were going to be expanding on, around a community fund, around a bunch of things that they promised to people. And that's what people bought into and gave them their ETH for. And apparently they just didn't deliver on any of it. And so to me, this is a rug. Like almost any way you look at it, if you took down that much money, you're established and you're not doing anything to make it right with the community, and you didn't deliver on any of that shit, like you didn't even really try. I'd be interested to know like how much effort they actually put in towards those goals. Like, did they invest a bunch of that money into a play to earn game that they just aren't releasing because it was a failure? Or did they really not even get far on any of these promises?
They didn't even make a treasury or a PDE game, man. I mean, like, I think that's the best. Like, I love following Zach XBT. It's somebody able to compile all the BS for you so you can get into the nitty gritty. But yeah, I feel like they probably went on some excursions and had a little fun with other people's funds. And unfortunately, that's just the way it is in this industry without regulations to stop things from happening, or at least like scare people into making sure that if you're gonna rug, like you go down trying. But it goes to say, like, if you're just rugging the rug, or it's a lot different than rugging from trying. If you try and you fail, that's failure happens. So this is, I don't think, a case of somebody like really trying too hard.
Nothing's down harder than the play to earn narrative. The play to earn narrative, you like launched a late NFT project in 2021 or I might be saying 2022. 21.
Late 2021, early 2022.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, my timeline. You were talking about a play to earn concept. Like it even got to the point where like Cool Cats had implemented something small, and like projects were talking about play to earn. Now that's just, man, that narrative is in the ground right now.
But I think, Chris, what you're hitting on is probably true, because my like, I was just totally guessing what I think happened here based on what they shared about, the market changed and like, we can't do anything now, like, which is fucking bullshit. Like, frankly, when you're that established, you have that much support and that many resources to not put in more effort and to not provide more transparency or some kind of like offering back to the community to try and like make them whole or anything. That's bullshit. But my speculation was that they did what a lot of others did, like even what SBF did, and basically took a lot of that money. They were gambling with it during the bull market, buying into a bunch of NFTs, doing a bunch of DeFi, doing a bunch of other shit to try and turn 5 or 6 mil into 10 or 20 mil, thinking that they were fucking geniuses, because everybody's a genius in a bull market. And then, when shit turns on them, they fucking lose a bunch. But to now literally rug your community off of that and not try and figure out like how to turn it, how to like make it right in some way. Like, I don't know, the fact that it doesn't seem like they were actually executing on any of the roadmap over the last like year or year and a half or however long it's been, it doesn't say good things. It doesn't say good things about them.
My guess, I would love to see the details on where those funds went. I do think I would lean more towards them not wanting to continue the project. That they raised money, they got their bags. We don't want to continue this. That's where my head goes. I will say, like, little history lesson for the OGs here as well. Dmitry Chesnikov, one of my good friends from ICO Alert back in the day, he had a financial background. He would tell me all the time how in 17 and 18, it kind of led to the downward spiral and the end of that cycle of companies doing exactly what you're talking about. I don't know if necessarily this is it, where they misappropriated their funds. Maybe they held for the ETH and didn't sell when they needed to, yada, yada, yada. But that's what happened at mass, like in mass in 2017. Projects raised a fuck ton of ETH through ICOs. They held that ETH, did not sell any into USD. And then when ETH crashed, they didn't have any money left to continue building the product. Again, I don't know if that is happening now, but that definitely has happened before.
And that happens. But again, a lot of it, though, to me comes down to the intention of like, were they actually invested in this roadmap? And like, it seems like there wasn't anything being worked on or delivered, and there wasn't any transparency. And so that's the bigger indictment for me. And then going about handling it the way that they did also, to me, shows the lack of respect and that intention, right, for the community that they built and their own project.
And to touch on like what Jack just put in the chat, like Web3 builders have to be hungry, very hard for, you know, the established artists and players. I mean, it's a double-sided sword because, like, I mean, my Web 2 company that established our Web 3 company is the largest direct response company for ads and linear TV. So it's like having like people behind you that allow you to be self-funded and not have to take VC money is a route that, like, it helps to be established versus being somebody who's unexperienced or doesn't have the opportunity to make mistakes. I mean, I think making mistakes in this industry is one of the most important things, and you're seeing that with a kid called Beast. And if you don't have ways to do that, and you can fall on your face like after one or two mistakes, you might end up like a Frenzy, and that might not be fair if you're really like a talented group of, you know, a talented collection or a talented company. So I would just like, I think it's important to do your own research when you're looking into invest into these. You know, there was a time where undoxed was cool. I think right now doxing is one of the best ways to establish a legitimate brand in this industry and give people trust right off the bat versus like them going, oh my God, you know, here we go. Another like, spit it against the wall, see if it sticks, you know, because that's
we saw Pac-Man. We saw Pac-Man Blur just announce his doxing right there this morning.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting more. I mean, Frank doxed like right before the trip down to Miami for Basel. He flew with my company down to Basel from Cali, and it's like I see it. And Jack's like, I think you're making a great point, and that's why I wanted to bring it up. It's like you got to be hungry, but I wouldn't. Some people are bad acting, you know, hungry. They're bad actors when they are hungry. So just got to be like careful on how you look at it.
And this happens. Go ahead, Giff.
Well, I just anecdotally, it's interesting to me to see this because I never got into the project, and the only things that I heard about it were through people that I know and like in the space, and they were all very negative about Friends with You. Like I know a couple people that like know the artists that have interacted with them that really don't like them. And like, I was never involved. I was like, oh, I don't care. I don't know. Okay. Like, you've got beef with this person. That's weird. But it's interesting anecdotally to have heard a bunch of negative things from people that I know and then see this type of shit come out.
Yeah. Some people aren't good at building businesses, man. Like we're giving money here to NFT projects, and there's instant liquidity traded right after they launch their product right up front, which essentially is bootstrapping their company. You're venture capitaling. You know, you could make the connection there. If someone's selling you're crowdfunding in a different way. You're not crowdfunding from accredited investors. You're crowdfunding from the public, and it's instantly tradable. When you're crowdfunding via VC, a lot of those projects never make it to the point where they're able to be publicly traded. Like, you just never hear about it. They just fucking die because their founders suck, the product sucks, all this stuff.
But I assume that a lot of those VC agreements where they're giving a money, they have contracts that say, like, if you're not showing certain deliverables, et cetera, if you're not coming through and doing X amount of work, then like you owe us this, or you're not getting that money or whatever. That's the issue here, is that like it's a social contract with your community, and there's no recourse for people for not doing any of the actual work that they promised.
Yes and no. You could still deliver a no product.
Shitty,
like you could not ever
vaporware.
You could not get to launch. You could still not get to launch. You could fake that until you had to, and then be up out of here. So, that's a good point though. There are some rules in place that say, hey, you can't just leave.
Yeah, VCs don't just give money without having a bunch of guidelines around what that looks like. They'd get fucked over all the time, right?
Well, they do get. That's my point.
I'm sure some
VCs
of them
are
do.
losing more than they're winning. The problem is that their hits are 100xers, and they make up for a lot of.
You only need a couple of hits, in that business model. I want to get Chris to tell us alpha about Utes though before we like wrap this up, because like again, we don't have anybody who's deep into that. So like, where are the Utes at? Like with the move, when is the move? What's going on? And like, if somebody wanted to get involved, also like, what's up with the token? Didn't they have like a token? Like if somebody's like, give us a high level of like what's going on.
Yeah, that's token.
Chris, you're also getting comments about Cardano as well in chat. They're asking, you mentioned it a couple times.
All right, so real quick, I'll address Cardano first because it's shorter than going to the Utes talk. But I had an opportunity to go out to CNFT Con this year, and I met Charles Hoskinson. And a lot of his the SeaWorld IOHK or whatever they call that, like the SeaWorld is basically going to be Cardano's NFT, like from Charles is it's going to be ran by Les. So it's SeaWorld. They've got 25 million Cardano in funding. I think is what he's raised so far, and he's going to raise more, I think, if he needs to. But I think that regarding like projects that I saw on the ground and stuff going, I'm bullish on like Cornucopia is a great metaverse. They seem to put a lot of work in that. I like obviously Lena from Clay Nation. She did a great job with that. Ugly Bros is a fantastic project. I mean, there's a lot of stuff over there, but really I'm more or less bullish on them taking a stance to actually go to SeaWorld. Les also has money in jpeg.com or jpeg. Whatever it is, or j.peg, whatever it is, their Cardano marketplace. And really, that's going to probably be basically their OpenSea for Cardano NFTs starting off, or Magic Eden per se. But I think it's really, really interesting ecosystem. They're starting to break out of their shell a little more and be a little bit more active in these different other ecosystems and different chains. So really, overall, I mean, it's not like high in the food chain per se right now, but I think that they're really going to make a run for their money, and they come from a very, very a very traditional minded background where those guys really, they stick to themselves. They don't really go out and make like risks because they, like I said, it's really difficult. I don't know if you can really launch a free mint collection on Cardano. So, you're going to be seeing different type of collections for different purposes. And I think really when it comes down to it in the end, when we all, my tech company and others that I see building already so far that are going after infrastructure and interoperability as like as forefront, it's really not going to matter because I'll be able to take a Cardano based, collection and use a token gated or a token verification process and bring them through Unity or Unreal Engine into a other land or to a Helix or where the hell you want to go. You'll be able to use that asset with the right partnership. So I think it's really like, if you find something that you like, really follow your community driven goals versus like where it's actually housed. And then when it comes to Utes, I mean, these guys are doing some crazy stuff, man. They just had a Miami meetup. My buddy Evan was down there. Unique. A bunch of the guys here in Tampa went down to see them. They've got that huge party happening up in the D Gods Hotel at the Proper for NFT NYC. So they rented out a full level that sold out in like a couple minutes. So they did a second level floor, second floor with that. And that's that Bored Ape vibes I was telling you about. That's that early vibes game right there, guys. And I think that's going to be something so important. Obviously, D-Gods is their staple, but to me, when it comes to 3D, 3D augmented reality and different applications to use for IPs, The Utes ecosystem is cool. However, you know, I think that we all need to take a huge step into really understanding what IP is. So I think my alpha to share is like really just understanding your IP rights. Because my last space we had Fidgetal, who's the IP attorney for a couple different collections in this industry based in LA. You know, really kind of question and really just challenge myself and my team on, you know, really do we understand what IP we're getting with Utes? And I think that's something that I personally don't know the true answer to. And I think that opens a lot of questions to like what really IPs are going to be for in the future. I think also like when it comes to like Utes, they're taking a forefront and really understanding and finding a way to put their technology into AR, into applications that really make sense. And I think that's something that they'll find a really good partnership with, and that they're open to that kind of stuff is really bullish for me, because some collections want to try to do everything themselves, and it doesn't typically work out that way when it comes to optimization and really making things an application for everybody, because a lot of this world runs on Android and not much Apple. So when you do things and you create these softwares, it's got to be something that somebody on the other side of the world can use an Android phone versus, you know, a high powered computer to have an experience. So
No, Chris, we saw Kevin Rose come out with like the announcement with Moonbird CCO, and he kind of like unilaterally made that decision, right? And then Frank was basically making that decision of the move to Polygon as well, and that was kind of not done from a community standpoint either. To my knowledge, it came straight down, top down. Are you good with that? Like, are you good with?
Yeah,
like,
man, I'm
having
good
a community
with
discussion.
Dude. I mean, like honestly, like people gotta take. In my opinion, I don't take these things seriously, or not seriously. I don't take them to personally. I mean, I'm a Web3 builder myself, so like I understand like decisions need to be made for the sake of sake of your brand or sake of your community. And not everything's going to go well for everybody. I mean, for the most part, I feel like they do take the time to listen to their community and really, I mean, those guys were down in Miami. Like, I mean, I personally watched I watched Frank drink beer out of a shoe. It was, you know, it didn't look like
the
his best.
shoey.
He did a shoey in front of everybody at the salon
Nice.
embassy. That was funny to watch. But like more or less, like when it comes down to it, he's got a lot of really, really smart people around him. And I think he can really rely on people to help him as a founder make decisions that work for you know the best positive outcome. And not everyone's going to be happy. And I mean, this is something that I think, you know, we take for granted, having the opportunity to just speak and give feedback versus like, you know, Web2 powerhouses that they won't even, you know, your feedback goes to the no reply box or something. You know, it's like, so I think right now you're seeing the beginning of something extremely. It's either going to pave the roads for themselves, and if it does more than that, it could pave roads for the generation of NFTs to come. Because it's just really cool to see some of these decisions being made already, that other collections like we're using Axie Infinity as the play to earn model, and look what happened to everything going there. So it's like, you know, when things like this happen, you're allowing somebody else to make mistakes and you can learn from their mistakes. So I'm just happy, regardless of what they do and how they do it, that they're actually doing something.
So you talked a lot about their tech. Like, what's actually been executed though? And like, how much of this do you feel like is just the hype and the talk? Because like they have a token. And I heard that the experience with like the mint, again, anecdotally from like a couple friends, I didn't do it. I heard it was kind of a mess. Like they ended up losing a bunch of money trying to get in and out of the token and then missed the mint. So a lot of people had rough experiences, and it doesn't seem like that went very well. What is the token even doing? And then, you know, how much of this roadmap and this tech that you're talking about has actually been sort of demoed or shown or executed? Versus, you know, if you're being honest with yourself, how much do you feel like is just, you know, the talk?
Well, I think like when it comes to tech, I'm not sure that they actually have to do much tech. I think they're going to find partnerships that are doing it for them. And they're doing it because that's their specialty. They're building infrastructure, and it's going to allow you to really pick and choose the infrastructure plays that they want to strategize that, you know, and strategize that path for. When it comes to like the coin and stuff, the Dust coin, I mean, that's just something that I don't have enough knowledge to where I don't want to say something and give you the wrong answer. I mean, really, I didn't get into that ecosystem for Dust. Like, I don't really care about Dust personally, the coin. I've got a lot of other things to invest in, and it's like, so whatever happens with that, I mean, for them, that's you know, that's for an investor in that coin to really decide if that's where they want to house their money. But I really think that's something that we're, you know, Yuga Labs is a great example of an ecosystem where they built these partnerships already. On the Ethereum side, like a lot of stuff, like a lot of like companies that got acquired by Yuga Labs are partnered up, like those, you know, and it looked like it was Yuga that did that stuff, but who knows who actually like developed this game, you know, like who the, you know, for Dookie Dash and stuff, right?
Yeah, Gaio Siri is like all over the obviously the NFT space, but like behind the scenes, he set up a lot of those partnerships. Like if you listen to the podcast that the Yuga Labs guys actually host, they talk about Guy all the time. Like everybody that they got connected to, dude, it's wild.
I mean, it's all about leveraging relationships and really wanting to see each other be successful. I've got just from like just from gaining these in-person events, I've made some serious connections with people that are so gifted and have, you know, technology minds that I just blows me out of the water. But you know, I wish I had a better answer for you, Gif, on like what on actually like what they're doing with tech. But really, I think what they're going to do is they're going to be patient, and they're going to allow others to present them opportunities, and they're going to be able to have that. They're fortunate to have the opportunity to pick and choose what they feel would be best for their brand.
Well, they've done a good enough job establishing their community and their IP that they're getting those opportunities, to your point. That's why they got thrown $3 million to move to Polygon, because I think you're right on that front. They're going to have a lot of opportunities, which is good. And so they'll be able to pick and choose the right partners. But what
they could stand out as well on Solana. They stood out. Like they were able to show their voice, like more so than if they were on ETH.
Yeah, they got the benefit of Solana, and now they're leaving it for greener pastures. It's all fun and interesting. But okay, as somebody who's not in it, you know, give us a quick high level on like if you were looking at the Frank DeGods ecosystem of DeGods and Utes and whatever's happening and all the different parts of it, trying to get in, trying to find the smartest way. What do you think is the best way? Like you're talking a lot about Utes, but you don't seem to be that interested in DeGods, or you're not talking about that a lot right now.
Yeah, I mean, I've really positioned myself on this side of their collection. I mean, DeGods is fantastic art. I think that's why it's going to Ethereum. It's going to allow them to do, you know, it's really not like what's hot right now, in my opinion. I mean, yeah, the floor price is way higher, and those are just more of a collector item, and I just think that like when it comes to Utes, they've created something aesthetically pleasing that can be really just somebody in a Web2 or traditional mindset could get behind and see just the value of how easy the colors and the color panel, or the whatever you call it, the pastels and the palette that they built. I think that also, you know, like DeGods is a little bit more edgy. It's something that is more of like a really art-driven project, in my opinion. So with this, they're getting, you know, they got money for this side, and really what you're seeing right there on the top right was a Nouns DAO. What you're seeing with the Nouns is, you know, the highest floor trait. They're really able to. They've been really good at building these DAOs through their traits and really creating these communities and groups that are driving demand to the floor price. And that's not something that I think we've really seen somebody do so well till now. And I mean, when you've got a black puffer jacket with a mullet and a smiley face and DAO, like that is a grail. You know, that's a pretty damn cool looking. You know,
Noggles.
You know, like, and that's the thing. So like you've incorporated these different things. Like my Ute has the Apple, like the retro glasses, like the retro apples and stuff, and I'm really just bullish on how they've been able to really just set the standard going forward. And I think you're going to see some of these, like the racetrack or the fast traits. They're going to do a Porsche. They're going to Porsche to like do a track day and stuff. So like you're just seeing some actual legit stuff happening from the Utes traits. And another good case of that is a kid called Beast. I'm really excited to see what they do with like their different beast hoods. You know, that's kind of like the closest I've seen, but a little bit more polished than what Youth is, you know.
Chris, we have to get out of here in just a moment. I know you have a meeting as well at the top of the hour. Yeah, we appreciate you stopping by today, man. You know, open invite. Y'all, you got to follow this man as well. I got his Twitter profile linked here. I'm going to drop it one more time in chat. Definitely follow this man. He's got a lot of great insights that he brought here to NFT Live today.
Thanks, guys. And real quick, I just want to say, like I'm building infrastructure. Like we are launching a collection, which I'm never going to shill anything. I never do. But like we're an infrastructure tech company first and foremost, and bringing in NFTs to life. Not only our own, but we've actually created a Ute and we've actually created a Bored Ape. So with all the traits from each collection, we'll be able to bring any holders to life. And going forward, we'll scale that into an automated process to bring more and more collections and allow them to be not only your full body, but also in these different metaverses. And it's a Ready Player One experience, but it also gets you outside because our mocap technology is full body, which no one else has. So if anyone like is really into AR tech, like always reach out. Like we're really, really, really passionate about seeing this entire Web3 space get bigger. And I just appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity to just spread some content, knowledge, and really just hopefully everyone here is bullish on this industry as a whole.
Well, yeah, we definitely are. I think you align with our values in that regard. But yeah, definitely come back and we can talk more about this as well. Looks interesting. And dude, especially if y'all are ever doing events or demoing or partnering on event stuff, let's talk about that too.
Oh, dude, yeah, we're gonna be. I mean, I think we're gonna probably do something maybe with the other block down out in NFT LA. But really, we launched our collection at NFT NYC last year. We came out of stealth with markerless motion capture right there as a display with TVs, and we had some amazing people stop by. And so far, what we're building has gotten some amazing feedback. We're just the type of company where we're doing everything first. And we're going to give you guys a product that you can like see and feel and touch on your phone before you even buy an NFT with us. So it's kind of the ass backwards way, excuse my language, but the backwards way of doing things in this space. But really, we being self-funded, we're blessed to give an opportunity to everyone here to really just see what we're about before you even have to give us $1.
Chris, you're getting some flowers in chat. Jack's Hideaway saying very cool. Chris Hashram saying great to have you on the show.
Appreciate you all.
Dude, last thing. This is a lightning question here. This is my bags. We do this like
this
every
is not a
month.
Lightning question.
No, it's a lightning question. Anything you see here that like needs to be, what do you think? This is a super lightning question. You need to be done in 30 seconds. Anything stand out?
I'm a degen, so like if you had something, I think like you're missing an on-chain monkey there is something I just think might pop off like crazy. But other than that,
there's no Utes on there or the gods. Do we have the gods on there?
We have the gods.
Oh,
I mean, I think Moonbirds might be, I need to go hang out with a cool cat.
Okay. I love it.
But I mean, that's just me. But no, I think you got a really good setup there. That's a pretty good tier list. Guys, thank you for having me up here. And I love how we all have a piece of art behind us. And the elephant art, honestly, is my favorite piece I've seen right here. That's a cool piece.
That's dope, dude. Yeah, Baron Batch out of Pittsburgh. He's a great artist. I just got another of his collection in that's being delivered to me. So appreciate it, dude. Chris,
yeah, man.
Again, great to have you. Any last thoughts before you leave? I know you kind of just gave us your kind of link drop as well. So if you got to say anything to the community out there, and GIF, I'll let you take us out of here. Our vibe, our tribe, by the way, folks.
Oh man, thank you. I think that everyone should stay bullish and stay consistently watching this show. I do think that as this market continues to change and we go into a bullish cycle, you're going to need a place to come get valuable information from people that have been doing it and grinding during the off season per se. And that this is only going to establish this specific community in this show as a valuable information depot. And really, there's going to be a lot of talk. If anyone was here during the last cycle, it was very hard to find good information because there was just so much crap out there, and we all suffered. Yo. So having a spot that knows what to look for and has been preparing, will have connections and communication tools outside of these other people that are going to be a lot faster and help us all win in the end. So thanks guys. Let's keep going. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful day to go touch some grass after this.
True. The sun is coming.
Although you
out
have a
here
meeting after this.
I'm jumping right into the thick and thin. But
I couldn't say it any better than Chris. That's literally why we're here, trying to consistently bring you top quality editorial, entertainment, and educational content on the Web3 space. We appreciate all y'all. ETHDENVER is gonna be lit. Taco Tuesday kickoff party. Chungo's Mansion Party, Women in Web3, Jessica Yatrovsky, Quasar, everybody's going to be there. Let your friends know Web3 Denver's going down. Our vibe, our tribe.
Misty Biggie.